Hi everyone, welcome to our weekly Q&A session, and today it is my pleasure to welcome here our coach Richard. So Richard, how are you today? It's really nice to see you.
Well, it's great to see you, Veronica. I'm doing great. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. I I was telling coach Richard that I was a little bit tight on time today because I was stuck in traffic. We were in
Veronica, I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry for the technical issues.
There we go.
I was just saying that I was a little bit tight on time today because I was stuck in traffic. We are at a Titanic exhibition, which is in
Oh,
Bratislava.
uh-huh.
So we went to see with our kids, and but I made it on time, luckily. So we can start, and we have a first question that I have found on the YouTube channel. And this one was, why do I still feel so anxious at night, even when I'm not so scared of insomnia anymore? Very common question. So, what do you think, Richard?
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Veronica. And, people with insomnia have a tendency for anxiety. I certainly did. I still do to some extent. It's much better. But, when we have insomnia, insomnia is basically not a sleep problem. It's more of an anxiety problem.
Mhm.
And so we can have anxiety about a lot of different things. And it may not feel on a given night that we're actually afraid of insomnia anymore. We're just anxious. So I think there's just a lot of free floating anxiety. There are so many other things that can make us anxious in life. We might have just kind of uh, channeled that anxiety into something else, and it's
Mhm.
not channeled into insomnia anymore. I see this very often. Um, we kind of define insomnia as being afraid of wakefulness, and that's true, but I think we can also have trouble sleeping because we're anxious about other things, about relationships, about jobs, about taxes. All these things can make us anxious and can lead to difficulty sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I see this also when we learn about insomnia and anxiety and sleep, like why actually we have insomnia. We might not be so scared of insomnia, of not sleeping and these things, but our body is a little bit behind from our mind. So that's why we still may experience the anxiety because it has become a conditioned response. So it's very natural that for a period of time until our brain really understands that there is no threat whatsoever over there, that it is actually safe to be awake at night, we still have this kind of like residual fear, residual anxiety, which is sparking without us even wanting to, right? So it's very natural, and it will take some time until even our body catch up to this idea like, hey, being awake at night is not a threat. So right, the questions are coming, and right, we have a question from MCM Beats. Do we have any success stories where someone got over insomnia and anxiety without any meds whatsoever? I feel my insomnia is getting better, but other stuff is getting harder. So, what do you think? I think I can recall any particular success story where somebody would speak without like using meds, but I am sure that there must be some, because there are still a lot of people who are really against insomnia, against pills, and they want to do it in kind of like a pure way without any chemicals, without any meds. I mean, we see the meds here in a way that when we are in really a tough spot, I'm sorry, I just want to remove this banner. When we are in a really tough spot, of course, it's really helpful to support ourselves with the meds. But if it feels like we can cope without them, or um, we we want to go this non-medical route, or for any reason we can't use the pills, of course there is a way how to do it without them. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Any thoughts, Richard?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Veronica. I mean, there have been so many success videos that have come out, and I can't think of, what percentage of people use medication. But I've certainly talked to a lot of clients, done coaching with a lot of clients who have not used medications,
Right.
And we're neutral on medication. We don't say we're for or against. If it's a prescription, make sure your doctor's on board and has discussed it with you. But certainly, it's certainly possible to recover without medication. We see it often, actually.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so another question is from Charlie. So, hi, I slept 8 hours last night, but I feel like I haven't slept at all. Every night when I do sleep, I feel like I've been awake all night. How do I fix this? Thank you. So, again, a very common situation. What do you think, Richard?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question, Charlie Renee. And there are two things. We can't just look at number of hours we slept, because sleep quality also is very important. And if we sleep 8 hours and we get great quality, great. If we sleep 8 hours and we're sleeping lightly, or we have hypersleep, which is what we define as kind of hyperarousal anxiety mixed with sleep, then we're going to kind of be in and out of sleep. We may not remember having been awakened, but often we are, or we're just very light sleep. So in that case, we don't feel that the sleep is very restorative. And this is just one of the ways that insomnia can manifest. Sometimes it manifests by only being able to sleep 3 hours. Sometimes it manifests as being able to sleep much longer than that, but not good quality. So there's no special solution to that, except to realize that the time you spend sleeping, the number of hours, is not the only thing to look at. So all the things that we teach here would apply to having this light sleep or hypersleep or non-restorative sleep. All the things we talk about, being accepting of wakefulness, being accepting of this state of not having good quality sleep, and befriending the time that we're awake, or befriending the time that we're not, sleeping all that good quality. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I believe so. What comes to my mind is that many people, they judge the way the way they sleep, right? And so many times when I speak about befriending wakefulness, I talk about that befriending wakefulness can be also just resting, right? But rest without judgment, without thinking this is wrong, this is shouldn't be happening, this is not okay to only rest, I should be sleeping, right? And when we rest without judgment, this opens the gate to hypersleep. This is what Charlie is describing, what she's experiencing. We could sleep all night long, like this kind of hypersleep when we are going in and out of sleep, which is the sleep that is infused with hyperarousal. Many people don't like even this stage because it doesn't feel refreshing in the morning. They are not sure whether they slept or not. But even when we don't judge this kind of sleep, when we just allow it to happen, it opens the gate to the deep sleep. So, Charlie, this is just an invitation to accept the way your sleep manifests right now. And over time, the things will settle, the less you will judge it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. We have a question from Yasir. So, I wake up at 3, not intentionally from sleep. Not sure what that word is. If I'm sleeping, I feel so that my brain wakes me to check any advice. I think Yasser experiencing these middle night awakenings, and he doesn't know why he wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning. So, do you have any thoughts, Richard?
Oh, I sure do. Thank you for the question, Yasir, because that's exactly what my pattern used to be. I used to wake up in the middle of the night, and often it was around 3 a.m. And you can have trouble falling asleep initially. You can have trouble staying asleep, or you can wake up early. So these are all different manifestations of insomnia. They're not really different. And I'm not quite sure of the wording of this question, but he seemed to be implying that he woke up to check the time, maybe. That's certainly a kind of a reflex that a lot of people have. oh, I'm awake, what time is it? Because they want to control their sleep. They want to know, okay, how many hours have I gotten and how many hours do I have left? But that's actually not a very productive thing to do. It doesn't, it really backfires, because the more we watch the clock and we wonder, well, why am I awake now? The more that just wakes up our brain and ramps up hyperarousal. So I'm not quite sure of the details of the question, but hopefully that answers it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right. Another question is from Annie, and she is saying, I don't know what to do anymore. It is now the third day of zero sleep in a row. The night is coming. I feel the extreme pressure and fear that I must have to sleep. What should I do? I don't know anymore what to do. At night, I stand in complete fear. I can't calm down and do something more pleasant. Please help me.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry the way you're feeling, Annie. So, what are your thoughts, Richard?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the question, Annie. And again, I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this. And, it's always very unpleasant to have a sleepless night. And when you have more than one in a row, that becomes even, more unpleasant. And we can often feel desperate in this situation. Um, Again, it's it, there are kind of two levels of fear. The fear we have because we're afraid of wakefulness, and then the fear we lay on top of that. We can call that first fear and the second fear. Meaning, oh, something must be wrong with me. I'm having this fear, so we become afraid of the fear, and it kind of escalates the whole fear situation. So if we can accept the initial fear, the fear of wakefulness, as much as we can non-reactively. So non-reactive acceptance is a good way to accept the initial fear. We're afraid of being awake, but without amplifying, without escalating it, without thinking these desperate thoughts, I have to find some way to sleep. Because the more desperate we are, the more we try to sleep, the more it backfires, the more difficult it becomes, because we just wake up our brain and ramp up hyperarousal. So, again, what to do in that situation? If we can befriend wakefulness to the extent possible, that's going to help. Now, people understandably kind of react to the idea of befriending wakefulness. What it's like for me, it sounded like a crazy idea when I first heard it. It sounded like hugging a grizzly bear that's attacking me. But if we can at least find some way to view it in a less to be less intolerant toward it, we're going to start on the road to befriending it. And if we can do that, we can hopefully not amplify the fear, the initial fear we have, and turn it into a second fear.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this response. And maybe what I would add to support Annie is she mentioned that she can't calm down and do something more pleasant. Sometimes it's, of course, very difficult to calm down when we are trying hard to calm down. So instead of trying hard to be in a relaxed state, instead of forcing relaxation, we kind of like need to learn to lean into the discomfort of this anxiety, of the fear, to kind of like approach it with curiosity. Where do I feel the fear and anxiety in my body? It's really the mind and body work that is incredibly helpful in overcoming these really the most difficult moments that we are experiencing. A part of insomnia recovery is to process difficult emotions, and this is what we need to learn. This is what we need to kind of like realize. Okay, this big fear is kind of like consists of like a set of thoughts and set of sensations that are in my body. What kind of thoughts exactly? Write down these thoughts, Annie. I'm scared I will never sleep up again. I'm scared that it will hurt me. I'm scared of these so many things. But think, Annie, you have been through so much already and you still made it through. Why it should be any different right now? So, and also all the symptoms you're experiencing, they seem scary, but they are not harmful. This is just your brain, like a stubborn child trying to show you, like, hey, there is a threat there. But all you need to do is just to say, hey, it's okay. I feel my racing heart. I feel the turning in my stomach, but I'm safe here, even with, not without them. Even with them, I'm safe. And please let go of the idea that you have to do something pleasant. It is extremely difficult when you are in really, when you are just running away, if I will use your phrase, Richard, like from a grizzly bear, right? To do something pleasant. Like imagine like you are really in the bush and you are trying, you are literally running from the bear, and then you think, oh, okay, I should just read my favorite book. This is really difficult, right? But when you just acknowledge all your emotions and instead of going for something pleasant, try to stay at least neutral or tolerant to all the experiences you are having. Let go of the idea that you have to sleep right now, because this is extremely difficult to force sleep. It's basically impossible. We can't control it. We allow sleep to come to us. We don't force it, right? So good luck, Annie, and yeah, I hope.
Could I just add
Yes, go
one
ahead.
thing here? Yeah. Annie says that it's difficult for her to relax or to enjoy things. One of the things that I used to do is
Mhm.
when I felt really frustrated at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would say, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it.
Right.
And that may seem like the opposite of acceptance, but I
Mhm.
really was accepting this frustration and this anger I was having. And that actually was very helpful for me to calm down some. So
Yes.
accepting my non-acceptance
Right. This.
very, was
Yes.
very helpful.
This
Yeah.
exactly is how we process the emotions. We need to bring them on the surface, right? And if it is in the way like you're shouting like that you hate it, it's a really wonderful example of how to
Mhm.
really how to kind of like be aware of them
Mhm.
and like really hearing the signal from our brain. Okay, so right, we have answered any, and another question is right from Amanda. Hi, my sleep has been getting better lately, but I still struggle with hyperarousal before big events. Any tips to actually fall asleep on those nights? So, what do you think, Richard?
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Amanda. And yeah, I'm number one, I'm really glad you're sleeping better. Could you put the question back up?
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And still with hyperarousal before big events, that's so common. It's not at all unusual. We see it all the time. I certainly experienced it. If you have to get up for an important meeting or for a plane flight, um, a lot of people just feel that they're under more pressure. They're more under the gun. They have more of an urgency to sleep. What to do about this? Just realize that you can't control it. And if you sleep, you sleep. And if you don't, well, you don't. And people often find that they actually do better than they thought they would do, even when they didn't sleep the night before a big event. So if you can take the pressure off by realizing that it's probably not going to be as bad as you think, that I've found is often very helpful. I tended to catastrophize. Oh my God, I have this, presentation I have to do. I'm going to fall flat on my face. Well, actually, I would do okay on the presentations. I would do okay, flying wherever I'm flying on the airplane. So we often tend to view these events as more important than they really are, or view our ability to perform much more negatively than it really pans out in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely also my experience. And I have realized that hyperarousal, it's not compatible with peaceful sleep, but it helps us to really perform on the really
Mhm.
important events and moments. So instead of being afraid and catastrophizing and adding judgment to the fact that you're not sleeping, give back trust to your body. Like, hey, maybe I'm not sleeping right now, but I believe my body will support me when it gets really important. I done my exams when I was in my final year at university while I was struggling with insomnia, and although I was scared, and but I passed all of them. And it was, I believe, thanks to the hyperarousal that in the first place was didn't help me to sleep, but in the second place, part of hyperarousal is this are these thoughts like quick thinking, right? Because we need to figure out how to get rid of the threat, right? And it can help us in these really challenging moments. So Amanda, good luck on your big event day, and it's really about letting go of the pressure, like Coach Richard mentioned. And actually, from experience, just one last thing I have to say: when I realized that I have zero control over this, I was able to sleep even before big events. So that's all I wanted to add. Right. And we have a follow-up question from Yasir. And sorry for the wording, there are a few typos. I prefer deep sleep, and sometimes I come out of deeper sleep into the wakeful state, and I find myself trying to figure out how good I was sleeping. Any thoughts, Richard?
Yeah, well, certainly, yes, sir, I understand you prefer the deep sleep. We all prefer this.
Right.
And then sometimes deep sleep comes into wakefulness. Could you put the question? Could you put it back up?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, good. And you're trying to figure out how well you were sleeping. Well, this one of the problems is that if we're kind of monitoring and analyzing, well, how well did I sleep? How many hours did I sleep? What was my quality sleeping? And some people will even put, trackers. They'll use, like watch trackers and so forth of their sleep to try to analyze this. But if you're trying to figure out how well you slept, that's just going to put more pressure on you. That's going to put sleep up on a pedestal, and that's going to tend to wake you up more if you're analyzing, wondering, and pondering. So hyperarousal doesn't always take the form of anxiety. Sometimes it can take the form of just overthinking things and overanalyzing things, wondering and pondering and analyzing. So I think trying to back away from this and just accepting how you feel rather than putting numbers on it or descriptions on it is going to be the best way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. I think.
Okay. Are you back? Oh, I don't hear you. There you go. I don't hear you, Veronika.
How about now?
There you go. Good.
Okay. Let's answer one last question. This one is from Naeem. Hello, sir. Yesterday night I had a really good sleep and always do, but yesterday till now I'm unable to sleep, still struggling. I have no idea what is going on. What should I do? I need guidance. Using social platform, I saw a story of fatal insomnia. Right after that, I started to feel those symptoms out of nowhere. Now, sitting here and thinking what it might be, that it might be the end of my life. A lot of things going on. Please help. I'm really sorry for feeling that you're feeling like this. Richard, any ideas?
Yeah, well, Naeem, thanks for the question. And again, I'm sorry that you're having trouble sleeping. Number one, I'm glad you had a good sleep the night before. But when we have insomnia, it tends to be a bumpy ride. It's not the same every night. Sometimes the hyperarousal is more active and it wakes us up and it's harder to sleep. And sometimes it's more, kind of in the distance. So it doesn't usually do much good to try to analyze why you slept better some nights than others. Now, you bring up this issue of fatal insomnia, and there is this phenomenon of very, very rare. It's a brain disease where people kind of lose the ability to sleep, and it ends up being fatal. Now, but this is not a form of insomnia. People who experience this do not complain of insomnia. They do not complain that they can't sleep. So it's a rare neurological disease. I think there are just very, very few cases in the world literature. I've never seen a case. We've never had anyone of the hundreds and hundreds of students we've had in our programs who's had this. But it tends to be a source of fear for people who actually have insomnia, because they think there are all these what ifs. Okay, what if I never sleep again? What if my sleep is this? What if I have this rare neurological disease? Well, we could all worry about all these what ifs. What if a meteor comes down and hits me out of the blue? What if I have a plane crash? There are all kinds of things we can be afraid of, but this is our anxious brain speaking. This is not reality speaking. So there are other videos that Daniel has on this condition, and I don't have the references off the top of my head, but he's talked about this a number of times. And if you just go to his videos and Google fatal insomnia, I'm sure you'll find it and get a lot of reassurance about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So now we are at the end of our Q&A today. If anybody would be interested in more personal support, feel free to reach out to Coach Richard or myself. And if you feel like you would benefit from like a group coaching, we have this wonderful program which is called Insomnia Immunity Program, or one-on-one text-based coaching BedTyme. And right, so thank you so much for being here today, Richard. I'm really glad you came here, and I will see you some other time. And with you guys, I will be here the next time with some other coach. So thank you so much for today, and have a really good rest of the day. Bye. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.